Namaste, it's Sahara Rose, and welcome back to the Highest Self podcast, a place where we discuss what makes you your soul's highest evolvement. Now, before we get started, I am so excited that I'm going to be incorporating some Ask Me Anything episodes to the podcast. Now, this is your chance to ask me anything from Dharma, soul's purpose, to conscious entrepreneurship, to relationships, healing, spirituality, past lives, whatever is on your heart, I am here to support. Now, to submit your questions, just head over to the iTunes store and leave a review of the podcast. Share with me what you love about the podcast, what you've learned from it. I love to hear your stories, and put your question right there. And I'm so excited to be of service to you and answer your question. Now, let's get into this episode. If it's your first time listening, welcome. I am so grateful to have you here. I am the best-selling author of Discover Your Dharma and a number of other books. And I've been hosting this podcast for over 4 years now. And really what I'm here to do is make spirituality fun, relatable, grounded, so more of us can really experience the joy of living our divine purpose. So yeah, I'm excited to be sharing this space with you today. And I really love sharing in these solo casts what I am personally working through, moving through, learning, alchemizing. And I want to share with you a little story that happened to me yesterday. So I love TikTok. It is a fun app for me. I loved, like, as a kid, doing skits and dances and all sorts of things. I have my Jupiter in Leo, so I definitely love to perform. And I was on TikTok and there's this like cute Doja Cat dance going around. And I was like, I really want to learn this. And I start trying to learn it, and it's very, very complicated. Like the movements, if you guys have seen TikTok dances, like it's very, very fast. It's like a bajillion movements compressed in 15 seconds. So it's a lot more complicated, like than back in my dance team days, or like doing the Soulja Boy, it's a lot more complicated now. I'm like trying to learn this dance, and I like keep redoing it. And then I'm like, I can't get figured out on this. I need to watch a YouTube video. I'm watching a YouTube video. I'm like trying to nail the dance. And I notice I'm really stressing myself out. Like I'm getting very worked up. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even learned the first half of the dance. How am I going to learn this next half? And then I'm noticing I want to give up, but then I'm like, well, I already spent so much time in this, so I need to figure it out. But, and I was noticing that this pattern exists within me. The way that we do anything is the way that we do everything. So the way that you learn a TikTok dance is going to have some similar threads to how you work, to how you relate in partnership, to how you have sex, to all of these different things. You can find similarities in there. And I noticed in myself in that moment how much I was trying to get to the finished product of having this nailed choreography that I could then just do on a whim of a hat and share with others. And my desire to get to this finished product was making the journey very stressful for me, because I wasn't enjoying the process. I just wanted to like get it all in my head so then I could do it, so then I could perform it. And I caught myself right there of, why am I even doing this? And so often in our lives, we don't ask ourselves that question. And we continue to blindly do things the way that we once were. And we continue to let those patterns repeat over and over and over again until like big situations happen. And then we might finally learn the lesson then, or we may never, ever learn it. So I realized then that I don't want to do anything that I am not enjoying the process of. And it's not about the result. It's not about knowing it. It's about going through the learning process and the growing process and the trial and error and loving every single step of that journey. And something that I have been working through over the past couple months especially has been really taking it easier on myself. I know so many of us, maybe you have felt this way too, but we can really be so hard on ourselves on wanting it to be perfect, wanting it to be delivered and received by other people, that we stop loving the process of doing things and we become obsessed with the outcome. And really, we've been trained this way from the time that we were kids. As children, we genuinely loved to play. We would go outside and we would find a leaf and we would ask questions about the leaf and want to learn everything about it. Why is the sky blue? Why are the clouds like this? Why is the ocean high sometimes, low sometimes? We had all of these natural curiosities within ourselves, which if we really followed them, we would learn exactly what we needed to learn. But then our school system, really told us that, oh, well, you need to do this. And if you do a good job at it in the way that we like it, then you will get the gold star in it. And the more love you receive, the more success you will have in the future. So we shifted away from this curiosity and this play-based learning into, how can I get the best result? How can I cram before this test so I can get an A, so I can pass, so I can get into the college that I want? So I can get the job that I want, so I can make the money that I want, so I can get the husband or wife that I want, so I can live the life that I want. So we train ourselves to make every decision coming from this results-oriented place. And we lose the joy of the process of learning and growing. And in fact, we are praised for becoming like this. We are told that it's a good thing to really look at everything and what's my return on investment going to be? And we're told that time is finite. So you need to use your time to the maximum, be as productive as possible, and get up at 4 a.m. and have this epic morning routine and do all these things. So by the time people are just starting your day, you've done more than everyone else has. And that's the epitome of quote unquote success. But when I tune into my heart of what success feels like for me, it is not that. And I'd love for you to just close your eyes for a second right now. And when you think about success for you, what does that look like? Yeah. So it's not exactly what we may have been told success is like, and it may not even be in alignment with what you may be currently seeking. So it's important for us to really take a step back and notice, where am I putting my energy and how am I showing up with my energy? And is this in alignment with what my understanding of success is for me at this stage of my life? So for me, success is to be able to wake up when I want. That doesn't mean I want to sleep in, but it means to not have an alarm clock. It means to be able to flow with my energy. So I'm not back to back scheduled with things to do, or even for myself to have this tight schedule. That doesn't work for me. That's not my version of success. I like to flow. And when I feel like getting on the podcast, I'll get on the podcast. When I feel like writing, I will write, because I know that my highest creativity will come that way when I'm naturally flowing. Success for me feels like having friends and community around me, having a movement practice every single day, having space for dance, for art, for crafting, making things with my hands. Having a journaling practice really feels like my highest version of success, a place that I can just flow. Being outside, the nature, the ocean, the beach, and always to be learning and growing something towards something new. I love to always be diving into something new that I've never heard about before. That to me is really exciting. So from knowing and understanding these aspects of myself, I have now created a life that is in alignment with that. However, these slips will show back up, like doing the TikTok dance and, well, I need to get it right. I need to get the choreography. It needs to be perfect. And I started journaling. I literally started journaling about my TikTok dance experience because it was stressing me out so much. And I was like, do people even care? Do people even care that you really hit that 8 count? You've really got it good. I really like how pointed your toes were. No one cares. So here we are trying to strive and chase these goals and be perfect when that's not even what people want and resonate with. So we're denoting ourselves from our own enjoyment of the experience and putting that on back hold to try to push and perfect something so other people can like it. And then to even ask yourself, what is the point? So you can get a lot of likes, comments, more followers. What is that going to bring you? And we know this, if I say consciously, of course, don't live your life for social media, you know this, but so many of us are still doing it. I had this realization a couple of years ago. I was at this waterfall in Costa Rica and I was so excited. I was about to jump in, but my friend who I was with, she was like, okay, well, let's take some photos and let's take some videos. And now, okay, get one of me behind the waterfall and in front of the waterfall and this. And literally we spent probably the first hour just taking all of these photos before going into the waterfall, and then it started to rain and we had to leave. And that really hit me of like, great, we have a waterfall photo shoot, but we didn't go in. And so many of us are still doing that. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's for even social media, but it could be for your job. It could be for whatever success looks like in your career. It's all of these ways that we sacrifice the enjoyment of the moment, of the process, of the journey for an outcome that doesn't even really bring us joy. So does this mean like everything we always do should always be super, super fun? No, like there are things that are going to show up. For example, if I'm writing a book, I don't love editing it, but I have to do that because it's needed for me to get my book out. But it's still part of the journey that's bringing me overall joy. And what I'm working through now is even in those parts that aren't bringing me the most joy or the most fun that I have resistance towards, it's like, how can I lean into that more? How can I find what I can enjoy about it? And things that I may be doing that I don't necessarily need to be doing, but I'm doing because of external validation, or I think it will bring me success, or whatever feedback I get from it, to no longer do those things anymore. Because nothing is worth your inner state. Nothing is worth something that's going to destroy your inner peace. And so many of us are continually doing this over and over and over again. And we think that, oh, well, I'm going to maybe go through this now so I can then in the future have this thing that I want, the raise, the bigger following, whatever it is. But that thing never brings you the joy that you could have had if you just enjoyed the process. And when you are in the process of enjoyment, when you are in joyous creation, that creation is coming from a heart-centered place. It is naturally flowing through you. You are not forcing yourself to do it. You are not doing it because of the likes you're going to get, the money you're going to get, the feedback you're going to get from your boss. You're simply doing it because it's joyously oozing out of your pores. It's like orgasming through you. That is your dharma right there. That is your soul's purpose. That is your highest creation. That is what you came on earth to do. And there is nothing that can ever replace that. Because when someone is in the joy of creation, we don't even notice the imperfections. The imperfections are what make it so beautiful. When someone is just dancing and they're in a vibe, they're not doing any choreography or have pointed toes or great, way of hitting each beat, but when they are just immersed in the music, it is a joy for us to even witness. Or if someone is painting something, it doesn't matter how perfect their technique is. When we can feel their heart is being poured onto this canvas, that is a beauty for us to witness. When someone is singing, it doesn't matter if they're hitting the notes perfectly. They're just flowing from their throat chakra, and it's just a magnificent display of who they are being vocalized into sonic alchemy. That is a joy to witness. So here we are striving to be perfect when people don't even like perfection. We don't value it. It feels contrived. It feels fake. It feels just like everyone else. And the other thing that hit me too with this TikTok dance, it really taught me a lot yesterday. But here we are, like, it's just a perfect example of it, of we're all trying to learn the exact same choreography. And really let that land. We're all trying to learn the exact same choreography in life, in our careers, in the way we show up on social media. We're all trying to be the same when that makes that same thing no longer special. Watching 10,000 people doing the exact same dance, you're not a judge on Dancing with the Stars to be like, okay, entry 746 did a really good job with the emphasis on the shoulder pop. Like, you're not going to notice that. You're going to be like, it's the same dance over and over and over again. So here we are, tens of thousands of people trying to learn the exact same dance, to have this hope, this possibility that they're going to hit viral with it. It's going to bring them the love and the attention and the followers and the money and the success and whatever it is that they are posting for, consciously and unconsciously. And really what they are doing is learning to be just like everyone else. So we're not going to remember Doja Cat Dance 746, but I will remember that person who was just dancing their heart out to some random ass music, and they didn't care who was watching them. They were just showing up purely as themselves. And beyond that, who cares what people remember you as? How did you remember yourself as? So it's so important for us to recognize this, because especially now with social media, I see a lot of people looking at one person's version of success of, okay, well, this person taught manifestation in this way, and these are the kind of pictures that they post, and these are the kind of graphics that they post, and this is how they do their stories, and this is how they do their website. So it's working for them, and I'm going to do basically exactly what they are doing, and hopefully work for me too. And then when it doesn't, they're like, well, this whole thing was a sham, and I'm just going to go back to whatever I was doing before. But really, the reason why it didn't work is because that person is already taken. That is them. And that might have been their joyous creation, but what is yours? What is your choreography? What is your song? What is the way that you want to show up? And how can you do it in a way that it's coming from your heart, that people can feel that? And again, that you can feel that. Because trying to learn someone else's dance, or trying to learn someone else's business or personality or anything is just never going to work. It's always going to feel like a drag to learn because it's not you. Your highest creations, your truest colors, your most unique, original thought forms will only come through when you are really basking in your own aura. And this is why I always say on the podcast, sometimes you need to take an advice detox. Sometimes you need to unplug from the noise around you so you can tune into what is the noise within. So the lesson I learned from this dance is that, yes, sometimes maybe I will learn dances if it's fun, if it's flowing, if it feels good. But the moment that it turns into a dance mom's competition where I am my own stage mom, like, come on, perfect this movement, and it becomes about the performance more than the journey, that is when I stop. And it's funny because the moment that I realized that and I put it away and I tuned back into what do I love to create the most? What makes me giddy and laugh and feel like I did as a kid when I was making those skits and dances? It was always when I was doing something freaking weird and quirky and something that no one really had ever seen or understood before, but I just thought it was really funny. And whenever I tune into that energy, regardless of how it does, quote unquote, I always have so much fun. And that's really what matters in everything in life. If you're not having fun doing what you're doing, then what is the point? Because this life is not about sacrifice. It's not about mustering through it so you can get to the other end, because the other end is going to feel exactly like right now is going to feel if you don't shift your consciousness. So if right now feels like a drag and you're not willing to shift that, if you're not willing to choose joy and fun and peace, then even with more money and followers or whatever the thing is, that other side of the rainbow is also not going to have a pot of gold. So when we realize this, that our dharma, our purpose is meant to come through joy. It is meant to come through ease, through grace, through flow, not through force. That is when we really begin to come alive. That is when our best and highest creations come through. And that is when we realize what this lifetime is all about. So I hope my experience landed with you and allowed you to maybe see a glimpse of yourself, maybe ways that you're echoing the same feeling of living for the end result, and a reminder for you to enjoy the journey. Because we are, as Abraham Hicks says, we are always on the brink. We are never fully there. We are always on the brink to our next iteration. So if we wait to be joyful in our next iteration, we're going to be waiting many, many different lifetimes. So if you are interested in learning more about your soul's purpose, check out my book, Discover Your Dharma. It is available wherever books are sold, on Audible, on Kindle. You can head over to iamsahararose.com/dharma to find the links there. The link is also available in the show notes. I also have my Discover Your Soul's Purpose free masterclass, which is a masterclass that I dive deeply into what your soul's purpose is all about. And you can also find that on my show notes or iamsahararose.com/masterclass. I hope this resonates with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Namaste.